It seems like nature is healing, with the imminent release of Silent Hill F, the next mainline entry in technically speaking 12 years. Ever since the series decided to go into indefinite hiatus after the mediocre reception to Silent Hill Downpour, Konami's decision to give the franchise another chance was inevitable, especially after they left the gaming business to pursue the mobile gaming industry at the time. However, given the recent success of Silent Hill 2 Remake surpassing over 2 million units sold and the aforementioned anticipation of Silent Hill F, it's safe to say the franchise is back. And it seems like this is only just the beginning, as Konami recently announced Silent Hill 1 Remake at their Konami Press Start showcase. While this is only a 30-second teaser trailer, solely to announce that there is a remake in development, this is enough to give a general idea that Silent Hill 1 is finally getting the proper treatment it deserves. Developed by none other than Bloober Team. For those that remember, there were leaks and rumors of a Silent Hill 1 and Silent Hill 3 remake that were already in pre-development. According to a source dating back to October of 2024, a tweet by the user planeta_play stated that a Silent Hill 3 remake is currently under development. The highlight of this claim is that they're under a codename Project H. This source was loosely connected to a previous source that elaborates about Bloober Team's long-term plan, with confirmation of 7 games currently being developed by their development studio. According to an article published by Industry Games Ecosystem in March 2023, Bloober Team has a development timeline from 2023 to 2027. 4 of these games are being developed in-house by Bloober, and the other 3 are co-developed with their partners. What's important here in this timeline document is the section of Silent Hill 2 Remake in Project C. Project C later revealed to be Chronos: The New Dawn. This leaves us with Project G and Project H, which are likely to be Silent Hill 1 Remake and Silent Hill 3 Remake, given the official confirmation of Silent Hill 1 Remake. It seems that the possibility of Silent Hill 1 Remake, if we were to follow the timeline plan, would be released sometime in 2026 or 2027. But keep in mind that the development timeline for this plan could be changed at any given time, depending on Bloober Team's production and development cycle. For those out of the loop, Silent Hill 1 is the only Silent Hill game that has never received a proper and traditional port to modern consoles. From its earliest inception, Silent Hill 1 was released on PS1 but has never been properly ported to modern hardware. The only instance of Silent Hill 1 getting ported to a modern platform for the time was on the PlayStation 3, PSP, and PS Vita. However, there's a stark contrast between a port and a borderline remaster, such as the Silent Hill HD collection, porting and remastering both Silent Hill 2 and Silent Hill 3. Although I do say that with hesitation, as the HD collection did a poor job remastering those games from their original hardware, as it encountered graphical issues, audio bugs, and poor frame rate that made the experience bare bones and led to disappointed expectations. However, there was, at the very least, an attempt to properly preserve and port those games onto a modern platform. It's important to preface that while Silent Hill HD Collection was a lackluster and mediocre remaster of Silent Hill 2 and Silent Hill 3, it was due in part to the original source code becoming lost. However, with mistakes comes learning from growth. The same could be applied to the unofficial ports of Silent Hill 2 Enhanced Edition and Silent Hill 3 PC Fix. Both of these PC ports suffered similar graphical, audio, and game-breaking issues that could be borderline unplayable. However, because of the dedication behind the fans who want nothing more than to properly preserve and restore these games to a playable state, we got just that. Silent Hill 4, as of recently, also got a port to modern hardware through GOG, an online digital marketplace made to preserve and restore older games from the 90s to the 2000s. GOG made a valiant effort in not only preserving Silent Hill 4, but also restoring much of the missing content that was initially not featured in-game on the PC version, such as the 7 missing hauntings, modern control support, and additional bug fixes. The point I want to make here is that these titles got lots of dedicated support and effort to preserve and restore these original titles to modern hardware, whether officially or unofficially, out of love and care to see these beloved classics playable. But throughout the years, it seems that Silent Hill 1 was always the outlier. As to why it took so long to see some semblance of relevancy towards Silent Hill 1 is up for debate. But I like to think that behind the scenes, Konami did possibly express interest in porting the PS1 classic. But due to the complexity of the technical process of porting older games from obsolete hardware, it could prove to be an issue and tedious. According to an article from Devoted Studios titled A Simple Guide to the Process of Porting Games, comments on how, for example, a title developed for PlayStation might be reworked for Xbox, PC, or even mobile devices. However, the process isn't as simple as copying and pasting files. Depending on the platforms, they individually come with their own unique hardware, software, and technical requirements. Furthermore, the developers need to optimize every technical aspect of graphics hardware, control systems, or processing power. In some instances, some games might need significant changes to work on a new platform, while others might only require minor tweaks. The end goal is about making the experience feel native to each device, ensuring players enjoy the game just as much as they would on the original platform. With this context, it's likely that Silent Hill 1 never got the proper port and restoration treatment due to the limitations of the original hardware, and lacking a proper team of developers invested in optimizing every technical and graphical aspect of the software to either tweak any necessary fixes or optimize a stable and functional experience. For the longest time, and even nowadays, we have to resort to emulators to properly play Silent Hill 1 on a PC, as it was the only solution if players didn't have access to the original hardware to play the port of Silent Hill 1 on those consoles. Emulation was the next and best solution, as it not only allows players to optimize and tweak their emulator to engage in a proper and playable experience of these older titles, but most importantly, preserve these older games from becoming lost media, due to the publisher's incapability to provide an accessible and available platform to play these older titles. While emulation is potentially the best alternative, the majority of players won't know how to access or use emulation and, realistically speaking, not be interested in undergoing the time and hassle to figure out how to emulate those original games, which is understandable. While the idea of getting a proper and restored port of Silent Hill 1 from its original hardware, optimized and tweaked to be played on modern hardware, sounds like a dream come true, especially as GOG has expressed interest in this possibility of porting Silent Hill 1 and Silent Hill 2. Is a Silent Hill 1 remake, given the circumstances. The possibilities of a remake of this beloved classic survival horror game are endless, as it can do lots of good by emulating and reinventing the clunky tank control combat and movement system to be better translated to modern gameplay, which is more simulated with the ease of use in its control schemes. Having the momentum of James's gameplay, albeit transferred to Harry, would work out perfectly. It can adopt and improve upon many of those previously introduced gameplay ideas, and apply them to Silent Hill 1 Remake. When it comes to the ambience of the town of Silent Hill, the fog world becomes otherworldly and surreal. It emulates this dreamy yet haunting atmosphere that makes you feel cautious of the horrors around you, but has this hint of serenity in its sound. It's a melancholy quality that is a juxtaposition with these two ideas that shouldn't work on paper, yet does somehow in execution. I'd love to see the ambience in this haunting yet beautiful atmosphere complemented in the remake, with new areas to explore and get lost in the foggy streets of old Silent Hill, or claustrophobic hallways in the other world. There's a lot to indulge and speculate in when it comes to the possibilities that apply to Silent Hill 1 Remake that makes me excited for the eventual release, but for the time being, we can give our thoughts and speculate for what's ahead of us. Until then, I'll be eagerly awaiting more news and updates in regards to Silent Hill 1 Remake, and will address them whenever available. I'll see you soon, in the foggy little town of Silent Hill. As always, thank you for watching, please have a great day, stay safe, and goodbye.
You